Hello everyone, welcome back to Bimo Pabilcha. In this video, we are going to learn about motion graph. In the previous video, we already learned about how to apply Sufat formula. And now in this video, we are going to learn about motion graph and how we represent the motion of our object and how does it help us to solve problem in motion. So there are two kinds of motion graph that we are going to learn in this video. The first one, we are going to learn about displacement time graph. In displacement time graph, we put the displacement on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. Let's say I have this kind of graph. Let's us describe the motion of our object. Now, first, an object moving in a straight line, and then if you look at the graph, initially when the time is 0, the displacement is 0, means that the object initially at the origin. And after that, at 4 seconds, the object moves until it reaches 7 meters, means that from 0, not to scale, this 1, 7, it's moving to the right within 4 seconds. And after that, the object stays there until 11 seconds. So it's not moving, still at 7 meters. But after that, it moves to the left until it reaches -3. So from 7 and moves until -3. And after that, stays there for within 1 second at -3. And after that, it goes back to the origin 0. So that's how we describe the motion of our graph. Now, what can we calculate from displacement time graph? We can calculate the velocity using gradient. We know that the velocity is displacement, change in displacement over time. So change in displacement, change in y, over change in time, x, change in y over change in x is basically the gradient. So we can find the velocity by using the gradient. So let's find the velocity from the gradient for each stage of our motion. From 0 to 4, let's find the velocity. So v equals to, so we use these 2 points, 7 minus 0 over 4 minus 0. So 7 over 4 meter per second. From 4 to 11, as you can see, the graph is in horizontal, means that it's not moving. So 0 meter per second. Okay, you can find the gradient of the horizontal line, there will be 0. And from 11 to 14, that will be -3, -7 over 14 minus 11, which is -10 over 3 meter per second. From 14 to 15 is not moving, horizontal line gradient 0 meter per second. And from 15 to 16, it's 0 minus -3 or plus 3 over 16 minus 15. Yeah, and that will be 3 meter per second. So that's how we find the velocity. And as you can see, when the gradient is positive, so that means velocity is positive, the object moving to the right. Whenever the velocity is negative, the object's moving to the left. When it is 0, it's not moving. Yeah, higher velocity indicates higher gradient, means that it moves faster. Yeah, so this one, higher gradient, means that moving faster compared to this. Now, the second graph that we are going to learn is velocity time graph. In velocity time graph, instead of putting s, we put velocity on the y-axis. And same, t on the x-axis. So let's say I have this kind of graph. As you can see, it starts from 4, means that initially the object moving at 4 meter per second, and it accelerates until it reaches 8 meter per second. So at this point, the object accelerates, and then the object here is moving at constant speed, moving at 8, because as you can see, the line is at 8, means that the object moving at constant speed 8 meter per second. And then it goes down, means that it decelerates until it reaches 0. From 8 to 0 means that the object decelerates. But after that, at this point until here, as you can see, the velocity decreases, means that it accelerates but in negative direction, because it's not moving here, velocity is 0, but now it's moving to the left until it reaches minus 4 meter per second. And after that, from minus 4, and then it goes back to 0 meter per second. Now, let's take a look at what can we find from here. First, gradient, now it become acceleration, because acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, which is the gradient. The second one, we do the opposite logic of displacement. So before, gradient is the velocity from displacement time graph. We do the opposite. How about the displacement? How do you find displacement from velocity time graph? Gradient is the derivative. Now we do the opposite, which is area under the curve. So the displacement is just area under the curve. Now, let's find the acceleration. From 0 to 4 seconds. So we use these 2 points, 0, 4 and 4,8. So the acceleration will be 8 minus 4 over 4, which is equals to 1 meter per second square. Now, from 4 to 10, as you can see, horizontal line, the gain is 0, or it moving at constant speed, or 0 acceleration. From 10 to 13, this is 13. Yeah, so we can use 2 points. This one is 10,8. This one is 13, minus 4. So we can use that to find the acceleration, which is minus 4 minus 8 over 13 minus 10. So you get minus 12 divided by 13, or minus 4 meter per second square. And the last one, from 13 to 14, we can use this point, 14, 0. So we get 0 plus 4 over 14 minus 13. So you get 4 meter per second square. That's how we find the acceleration using velocity time graph. Now, how do we find the total displacement and total distance? Now, we use the idea of the area under the curve is equals to displacement. So it consists of 3 main shape. The first one is the trapezium. And then we have another trapezium over here. And then we have a triangle. So we have area 1 until here, area 2 until here, and area 3 is here. Now, to find the total displacement, you just need to find the area. So let's find the area. For the first one is trapezium. So we use the formula of trapezium, which is 4 plus 8. Yeah, the sum of parallel side 4 and 8 times the height is 4 over 2 plus area 2, same formula, sum of parallel sides from 4 to 12 is 8 plus 6. Yeah, so 8 plus 6 times the height is 8. This is the height is 8 over 2. Nah, the third one, be careful. Displacement for this part is negative. So the area, you have to count it as negative. So you have to subtract with the area under the curve. So if the area is above the x-axis. So if the area is above x-axis, the area is positive, while when the area is under the x-axis, you have to subtract it because it's now the displacement is negative because moving to the left. So we subtract with the area of this triangle, which is 4, the height is 4, times the base is 2 divided by 2. So when you calculate this, give me a minute. So you calculate each area and then you add them all except the last one, negative, because the displacement is moving to the left. You will get 76 meter. But for the total distance, you don't care about the direction. So you add them all, no matter it is positive or negative, you just add them all. So when you add them all, you will get 84 meter. So that's how we find the total displacement and total distance from velocity time graph. Now, let's take a look at the first question. Here we have the displacement of a particle moving in a straight line after leaving a fixed point O. The particles start from rest. So we know that the initial velocity is 0 and passes through point P, Q, R at 5, 10, and 15. 5 reaches P, 10 reaches Q, and R when time is 15. And returns at O at 20. The distance OP, 50 meter. So when 5 seconds, it reaches 50. OQ, 150. So when it is 10, it's 150. And then 200 when it reaches R. The diagram shows the displacement time graph, which model the motion of the particle from 0 to 20. We have two curved segments, AB and CD. So AB and CD, this is the curve. So maybe I will highlight the curve. And the rest is a straight line. Now, the first question is find the speed of the particle between 5 to 10. So between 5 to 10, we know that it is a straight line, so it will have a constant velocity, constant gradient. So to find the constant velocity or speed, you just need to find the gradient, which is this point is 5,50, this point is 10,150, so that will be 150 minus 50 over 10 minus 5. So you get 100 divided by 5 or 20 meter per second. The second question is the acceleration of the particle from 0 to 5, given that it is constant. Now, we don't have the formula of the acceleration when you are given displacement time graph, but we can use Suvat equation because the question says constant acceleration. We know that the object start from 0, the velocity, so u is 0 meter per second. The particles start from rest here. And then when it is 5 seconds, the speed is here, 20 meter per second. The time interval is 5 seconds. So to find acceleration, just use Suvat. So V equals to U plus 80. So 20 equals to 0 plus 5A. So you get A is 4 meter per second squared. So that's the acceleration. The last question, find the average speed of the particle during its motion. So I'll do it here. We know that the average speed formula is just equals to total distance over time. The total time is 20. The total journey is in 20 seconds. And how about the distance, total distance? So initially, the object moves from 0 to 200, and it goes back to 0 again. So initially, from 0 to 200, and from 200, it goes back to 0 again. So another 200 meter. But we don't subtract because it's the distance. It's always positive. So from 0 to 200, and then 200 goes back to origin. The total is 400. So that will be 400 divided by 20. So the average speed will be 20 meter per second square. So that's how we find the average speed. Now, move on to the next question. Now we have the velocity time graph. So let's see how do we solve this question? So we have the velocity time graph. So this is the time, this is the velocity here, and the key information that we have to know, it decelerates uniformly into stages. So it decelerates here and here. So between 48 and 62, it decelerates at A. So decelerates at A meter per second square. But between 62 until 70, it decelerates at 2A meter per second square until it coming to rest. The first question is find the distance covered by the bus in the first 8 seconds. So in the first 8 seconds, we know that the distance in the velocity time graph is just the area under that line. So the area is a triangle, so we can find the distance. The area is 12.6 times 8 divided by 2. The area of a triangle. So you get 50.4 meter. The second question is you want to find A. Now, how do we find A over here? Okay, first, we know that the velocity here is 12.6 and that will become the initial velocity when it decelerates. So the U is 12.6 meter per second. And after that, it will decelerate, and then at 62 seconds, it reaches a certain velocity that we don't know. So let's say it's V. And after that, it decelerates at 2A until it's coming to rest. Okay, now I want to explain something. When the question say decelerates at A, meter per second square means that we are talking about the magnitude of deceleration. So this one is the magnitude of deceleration, which means it's always positive. So the negative part, when we say deceleration, the negative part comes from this word. Yeah. So it's very important because when we apply the Sufat formula, now we can use Sufat. We have U, we have time, and we want to find acceleration, and we want to use V to connect with the second one. So we can use the first formula of Sufat, which is V equals to U plus AT. But for this case, we know that deceleration, the value of A is positive, so we put U minus AT to make sure that the value of A here is positive. Yeah. So V is, we don't know V. U is 12.6 minus the time interval from 48 to 62, which is 14. So 14A. This is the first stage of deceleration. The second stage of deceleration decelerates at 2A within 8 seconds. So use the same formula, V equals to U minus AT, but now the V is the final velocity on the second stage, which is 0. So 0 equals to, initially it moves at V, the same V from the first stage. So you can use that, which is, okay, let me erase this first. 12.6 minus 14A, that's the initial velocity on the second stage. And the final velocity on the second stage is 0. And then minus A is 2A now, and the time is 8. From here, we can solve for A, so 0 equals to 12.6 minus 14A minus 16A. So 30A equals to 12.6. So you get A equals to 0.42 meter per second square. So be careful with the wording. Decelerates at A means that you put negative on the Sufat formula when it says decelerate at A, because the A has to be positive in this case. The last question, we want to find the average speed of the journey. So I'll do it on top here. Yeah. To find the average speed, like the previous question, we use the total distance over total time. So the average speed equals to total distance over total time. We already have a total time, which is 70 seconds. You just need to find the total distance. And we know the total distance is just the area under the curve or under the line. So the distance, the first area already calculated from the first part, which is 50.4, plus the second area is a rectangle. So you just need to multiply 40 times the height is 12.6. The third one is trapezium. Use the formula of trapezium, which is the sum of parallel sides, which is this one, the V. So we need to find V first. So V, already calculate, V is this one. V equals to 12.6 minus 14 times A is 0.42. So you get 6.72 meter per second. So the value of V here is 6.72. So that will be 6.72 plus the sum of parallel side, 12.6, this one. And then the height is this one, which is 14, divided by 2, plus the last area is a triangle. The height is 6.72 times the height or the base is 8, divided by 2. So when you calculate that, you get 716.52 meter. So to find the average speed, you just need to divide with time. 716.52 divided by time is 70. So the answer is 10.2 meter per second. So that's the average speed. Okay, move on to the next question. In this question, we are going to sketch velocity time graph for the motion of the car. So let's read the question. A car starts from rest. So it starts from 0, 0. Sorry, 0, 0, and accelerates at 2 meter per second square for 10 seconds. So what's velocity that it will reach? So we can use a Sufat formula, V equals to U plus AT. So that will be initially from rest, 0 plus 2 times 10. So it will reaches 20 meter per second within 10 seconds. So this is 10. So it will reach 20 meter per second. This is velocity and this is time. It then travel at a constant speed for 30 seconds. So from 10 to 40 within, from 40, wait. Okay, from 40, okay. From 10 to 40, 30 seconds, travel constant speed, so horizontal. And after that, decelerates to rest over a period of 20 seconds. So from 40 to 60, it will decelerate until rest. So this is the velocity time graph. And next question, find the total distance traveled by the car. You just need to calculate the area under this line or curve. As you can see, it is a trapezium. So just use the formula of trapezium, which is the sum of parallel sides, 60 and 30. So you add them, 60 plus 30. Wait, sorry. 60 plus 30 times the height is 20 divided by 2. So you get 900 meter. That's the total distance traveled by the car. The last question here is, this is not specifically say that it is a motion graph problem, but this is in general. But I want to show you that we can use motion graph method instead of SUFAT sometimes to solve problems, and it's way easier. So let's take a look at this question. A bus moved from rest with constant acceleration for 12 seconds. It then moved with constant speed for 30 seconds before decelerating uniformly to rest in a further 6 seconds. The total distance traveled is 585. Now, this is the key information that we have. The total distance traveled is 585 meters, and we know that total distance is the area under the curve for velocity time graph. So we can draw velocity time graph. This is V, and this is time, and we just need to sketch it. A bus moves from rest, so from 0, accelerates for 12 seconds, okay, for 12 seconds, and then move at constant speed for 30 seconds, so from 12 to 42, and then decelerates in a further 6 seconds until rest, so it reaches 0, 6 seconds, that means 48. The total distance is 585, so the area here is 585. The question is find the constant speed of the bus, which is this one, when it's moving constant speed. Nah, we can use SUFAT, you can use different distance formula within stage, and then you add them all. But for the question that involves multi-stage problem, it's better if you use graph. Yeah, it's easier. So the total distance is 585, and that is basically the area of trapezium. So the area of trapezium will be the sum of parallel sides, which is 48 plus 30, 48 plus 30, times the height is V divided by 2. So you can calculate the V from here, and you get 15 meter per second. So that's how you apply the motion graph method. The second question and the last one is the magnitude of deceleration. So I'll do it here. The magnitude of deceleration. So from 42 to 48, the object decelerates, and we can find the deceleration by using the gradient. So you can calculate the gradient. This point is 42, V is 15 until rest 48,0. So the gradient will be 0 minus 15 over 48 minus 42. So if you calculate this, you get minus 2.5 meter per second square. But be careful, the question is the magnitude. The magnitude of deceleration means that we don't care about the negative or the direction or the sign. You just need to make it positive when it says, magnitude of deceleration, which is 2.5 meter per second square. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you liked it and you learned something new about motion graph, and see you in the next video. Thank you.